Hello everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining me for this yoga practice today. This practice is really designed for anybody. I'm going to give instructions for paraplegics and quadriplegics and able-bodied, so feel free to modify, go deeper, do whatever you need to do. Just make sure that you stay safe, and it doesn't have to be anything grand. We're going for a nice, peaceful, subtle practice that really utilizes the breath and the awareness and communicates with our nervous system. So, my name is Alisha, and I have been teaching for CAF for about 7 or plus years, and I specialize in adaptive yoga, so I teach to all abilities. So please join me in a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. If you'd like to stay in your chair, you can do so. If you can easily get out of your chair and sit on the ground, that is great as well. Just want to get to a place where your spine is straight as it can be. You're nice and tall and lifted. So I'll give you a minute or two to transition, and always just take your time transitioning. No rush getting into the next pose. We'll have plenty of time in each posture for you to enjoy it. So once you've arrived into a seated position, you can have if you're on the ground, you can have your legs extended, you can have your legs open wide, you can have your legs crossed. Again, whatever allows you to lift and lengthen the spine. We're going to sit here. I'll sit in this chair and move from here. So my feet are grounded. I'm going to keep the toes pointed forward and the feet flat and working towards pressing downward into the feet. So even if you do not have the ability to press your feet down, feel into the energy of moving downward. So feel your feet moving down towards the earth. Feel your hips grounding down towards the earth. And then feel the upper body lifting up towards the sky. So there's this opposition of grounding and uplifting energy. In yoga, it's called prana and apana. So we work with those two energies here to find balance in the body, find some space, and then just softly close your eyes. Fix my screen. And as you sit up nice and tall here, we're just going to bring the awareness to the breath. So breathing in and out of your nose. So do your best to keep your mouth closed. This will allow you to take a much deeper breath. Allow you to move the breath into the ribs, into the back of the ribs, into where 2/3 of our lung capacity resides, all the way down in the low back. So breathe into that space. And it's establishing a nice rhythmic breath where the inhales and exhales are even. And then gently just bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. And continue to breathe. And bring your head back to center. And left ear to left shoulder. Letting the head be heavy, letting your shoulders stay relaxed. And then bring the head back to center and lower your chin towards your chest. As your chin comes forward, you'll open up the back side of the neck. You can stay here or feel free to move from side to side here, just making little half circles. Just feeling into the muscles of the neck, moving down into the back. Most likely some tight muscles here, so go real slow. And make sure that you're always breathing. If you have to hold your breath through anything, that means you've gone too far. So always listening to your body. Any dysreflexia that may arise for you, please listen to that, obviously, and then back off. Come back to your breath. So slowly bring your head back to neutral. Lifting up nice and tall. Now turn and look over your right shoulder so you can open your eyes now as you look over the right shoulder. And then come back to center and turn and look over your left shoulder. And then come back to center. And then from here, we're going to work into a little seated cat-cow position. So you're going to keep your hands on your thighs. If you're sitting cross-legged, maybe switch your legs so the other leg is in front. And then we're going to lift the chest and look upward. So taking this arched position here. And then round the back and look down towards your belly. So if you've got a lot of mobility, feel free to come over onto your hands and knees into a tabletop position. Take your time, of course, transitioning, and do cat-cow from here. So inhale, look up, tilting your pelvis forward, and then exhale and round. So, and again, this can be done from a seated position. Inhaling, lifting up, and exhale. Continue to flow here. Just whatever position you're in. Continue to lift on that inhale, opening, and then exhale and round. We're working on the flexibility in the spine. We're working on moving that breath up and down the spine. Awakening that pathway here. Good. Just a couple more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Then come to neutral position now. Sitting up nice and tall. And then we're going to take a seated twist. So come back to a seat if you're on your hands and knees. Any seat is great here. Take your right hand back. Maybe grab a hold of your chair. You're in a chair, place your hand on the ground. Your left hand can be on your left knee. Or if you can come a little deeper, place your left hand on your right knee. And then twisting the spine from the low back up. So start at the low back, then the mid back, then turn your head and get into that cervical spine as you look over your right shoulder. So as you're doing this, the legs stay grounded. If you're in your chair, your feet are pressing down, and as if you were trying to hold a block. In fact, if you had a block, it would be a great tool to squeeze that block between your knees here so that you do keep this energy in the legs. Pushing, trying to squeeze the block. Engaging your inner thighs, pushing down through the heels, then come back to the center. If you don't have a block, don't worry about it. You can have an invisible block. Works really good too. And then come to the other side. Look over your left shoulder. Deep breaths, every inhale lengthening, every exhale twisting. Adjustment, and then come back to center. Please. And set your block down if you're using it. And then we're going to come into a side body stretch here. So as you can see, we're warming up the back in all directions. We did the cat-cow, forward and back, we did twisting, rotating the spine, and now we're going to do a side body bend. A blocker chair is great here on your right side, but you can also hold on to the chair. You can also place your hand on the mat, especially if you're seated. So taking your hand down, somewhere for support. Obviously not too far that you can't bring yourself back up, but supporting yourself on that right side. And then if you can take your left arm up and over, extending it over your head. Maybe you place your hand behind your head, or maybe you just keep your hand on your thighs. Still a really nice big opening here through this left side. So any of those variations with the arm, and then keeping your invisible block between your thighs, between your knees here, keeping your feet grounded. Maybe turn the head to look towards that left hand. Take one more deep breath. And then slowly, gracefully make your way back to center. And then we'll come on over to the other side. And then again, holding onto the chair, holding onto, or placing your hand on a block, on the earth, on maybe some books or whatever's over there. You can just lift yourself up. You can use all kinds of things for props here. The idea of this is not to look like me or anybody else. The idea is to open up your right side. So however you can do that is yoga. So we're adapting the pose. We're all feeling this totally differently. So we want to just get in touch with the body. And the best way we do this is to breathe and feel, taking your awareness inside, letting all other distractions go. So hopefully there's nothing in the distance distracting you. Just feel into your body. Give yourself your full attention here. And breathe. Good. And come all the way up, back to center. And then just rest your hands for a moment. Go ahead and turn your palms up and close your eyes. Breathe in and out of your nose. Connect to that breathing. Let your shoulders relax. Again, the point of this practice is to deepen the connection between the body and the mind. We are doing that through gentle movements. We're doing that through awareness. We're doing that through breath work. All just getting more and more acquainted with our body, its abilities, its limitations. And then go ahead and release. Place your hands down. And from here, we're going to take a forward fold. So if you're on the ground, you're seated on the ground, go ahead and extend your legs out in front. If you're in a chair, make sure your feet are grounded. Your feet feel stable. You may scoot your bottom back a little bit so that you don't fall forward all the way. Because we're going to come forward here and stretch the spine. If you're seated, you're going to stretch the hamstrings. Or sorry, if you're seated on the floor, you're going to stretch the hamstrings as well. So you're going to come forward and bring your elbows down to your thighs first. And breathe here. Again, this is for the back, stretching and lengthening the back. If you're in a seated position and your legs are extended all the way out on the ground, see if you can get more length in your spine versus just trying to fold forward and get into those hamstrings. Because often we can come a little too far. So we want to get that length in the spine. And then breathing deeply, maybe come a little bit further. If you've got that block here, maybe place the block on the ground in front of you. Honestly, if you have a seatbelt or something too, that might be helpful to keep you safely in your seat. Just go real slow here. We don't want to come too far forward. Again, everything that we do is really slow and really mindful, so there should be no room for injury. If you're breathing through every posture, breathing through the transitions, then you're staying fully connected to the body and the mind. So you should be able to tune into any messages that are telling you to back off, or come out entirely, or go a little deeper. And so if you're comfortable here, you can always come down a little bit further and fold all the way down, letting your head release. This being a really nice release for the upper back, for your cervical spine. You can even do little yes and no nods here. Make sure you're breathing. You're going to want to come out of this really slowly. A lot of blood rush into the head. So you're going to come all the way back up to this block, or bring your hands to your shins, or maybe have somebody help you. Use your support. Slowly come up halfway. Try not to push yourself all the way up right away. And then walk your hands up so that you come all the way back to a nice tall seat. Good. Breathe here. And then from here, we're going to do a little variations of the warrior poses. So first one being warrior one. We're going to start with the right arm. So you're going to sweep the right arm. If you're able to sweep it out and up, take it up. If you can bring it to your head, then bring it up here. Maybe lifting your elbow. Maybe you have a friend, caregiver nearby that can help you lift your arm to stretch all the way up. It's a really wonderful stretch for the muscles of the arm. Breathe. Try to keep your neck straight so your gaze is straight out in front. And then slowly coming down however you can. Maybe sweeping it wide, maybe just bringing it all the way down to your thigh, and then switching sides. Taking that left arm and reach it up. Breathe here. And then slowly release it down. Good. Place your hands on your thighs, close your eyes for a moment. Feel into that energy in your shoulders, whatever you feel. It is subtle, for sure. But it could feel like warmth, could feel like space, could feel tingling. Just tap into any of those little sensations. And then we're going to come into our full warrior one, arms reaching to the sky. Again, if you've got that help, have your friend grab your wrist very lightly and just gently lift you and just gently support you so that you are doing the stretching, you are doing the lifting. And make sure you can breathe. If this is too long of a whole thing, come out. Another option here, which we're going to transition to, So taking your hands behind your head and then holding your head in your hands. You're going to take your elbows out, and maybe again you have some help here to look up as you hold your head and take just a little bit of a back bend as you let your head fall back into your hands and look up. This feels really good on the shoulders, really great for the chest, really great for opening up that heart center. Good, and then come back to center. Slowly release your arms down. And again, feel into that. And warrior 2 is next. Taking your arms out to the sides. Stretching the arms out. And again, they can be here. They can be here. They can be all the way down by your sides. It's all stretching and lengthening the muscles of the arms. This just adds a little bit more weight from gravity and a little bit more of a strengthening practice. So do what you can. If you can have some help here, reaching your arms out, or just take them down by your side, but really just working on lengthening the muscles. So reach through your fingertips. Turn and look over to the right. Then bring your head back to center. Keep breathing. Turn and look over to the left. Then head back to center. And then releasing the arms all the way down. Good. Place your hands on your thighs. Lift your shoulders up by your ears and roll them back and down. Good. Roll them back and down. Up, back, and down. Good. And then we're going to stretch the shoulders a little bit more here now. Coming into a position called eagle arms. If you're seated, you can switch up your legs if you like, crossing the legs, extending the legs. If you're in a chair, then keep your feet grounded. We're going to take the arms out and we're going to wrap the right arm underneath the left. So maybe you grab opposite shoulders. Maybe you can reach to your right. Your right fingers can reach to the left palm so that you kind of wedge your fingers in there. So anything in between. We're just opening up the back side of the shoulders and look straight out in front. So keep the back of the neck long. And breathe here. This really is such a wonderful sequence that you can do anywhere. You can take a few of these poses and just throw them into your day at random times. Just get some blood flow moving, get some breath work going, and switch and take your arms all the way out or all the way down, stretching them out to switch sides. Now your left arm is going to come underneath the right, left palm into the right thumb. Or back of the hands together, or grab opposite shoulders. And your choice here as you find this opening, the back side of the shoulders. Focusing on creating that space right between your shoulder blade and the spine. An area that so many of us hold tension. Breathe deeply into that space. And then releasing, extend the arms out to your sides, and then taking your hands back behind you. You can hold on to the chairs or to the chair, or take your hands all the way behind you and interlace your fingers. If you're seated on the ground, take your hands together, interlacing your fingers. The idea here is to open the chest. So now we're opening the front of the shoulders. We did the back side of the shoulders. Now open the front. Couple deep breaths here as you look upward. Again, try not to let your head drop back. So we're keeping the back of the neck long as you lift your spine and open up. Good. And then one more posture here. So releasing the hands. We're going to do one more little twist hip opener. So you're going to take your right leg over your left. Okay? So if you're seated in a chair and you have limited mobility in your hip, this is where you're going to want to stretch from. Those of you that have a little bit more, you know that you have this freedom in your hips and safety in your knees. You can come into this kind of figure four pose here. And this is a real big stretch for your hips. So just want to be careful with the knee here. All right. If you're seated on the ground, you can take your right leg up and over the left. And this is a nice twist here, or you can again take this figure four here for the hips. So feel into your body, feel which is best for you. And then we're going to twist from here. So either from this figure four position, you're going to twist to the right. And try not to use too much upper body, but give yourself a nice little stretch in the low back. One more time here. And then come back to center and releasing the right leg and switching. Left leg crosses over. And see how this feels. If you're totally open in your hips and you know you have the room to move into this figure four posture, go for it here. Just try to stick with the same variation you chose on the other side. And then twist to your left. Again, just getting flexibility in the spine in all directions, forward and backward, side to side, twisting, rotating from left to right. Go ahead, come back to center. That's all going to keep the spine happy here. So sit up nice and tall. And then close your eyes. If you're on the ground, feel free to lie down. We're moving into our final pose here. So you can find Shavasana in any position. You can be lying flat on your back. You can be in a seated position. Ideally, the spine is straight without too much effort. So if you need to scoot yourself back to relax a little bit, do so, but just make sure that that doesn't mean that you're slouching. You want to keep this space in the spine. Usually if we're away from the back of the seat, just a tad, it makes us work to keep the spine straight. And then slide your hands back so your shoulders pull back, eyes are softly closed. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths here. So you're going to take a big inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And close the mouth. And just breathe normally. Relax any tension in your shoulders, in your hips. in your face and your jaw. Just allow the body and mind to come to that stillness, that peaceful place where the body knows how to heal. And then if you're on the mat, please roll over onto your side, taking your time, awakening out of this posture and pressing yourself up to seated. Meeting in a seated position. Feel a little lift here, like there's a string attached to the top of your head, just pulling you upward. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart in a prayer position. Taking a moment to honor yourself, honor your body for all that it can do. Namaste. Thank you.